Welcome to the next Q&A for trauma healing and life counseling. In this video, I will answer question 56. What do you think about holotropic breathwork and psychedelic therapy, for example, with LSD or MDMA? Do you also know Stanislav Grof in this context? Don't ever try this. Stay away from it as a therapist and as a client. Don't do it. Don't ever do it. Not a single time. Forget it. Forget it. Just forget it. It's something that you should not even try. It is the same as if you would try to play with an atomic bomb. Would you play with an atomic bomb? No. You wouldn't do that. It's not the place for experiments. Usually I am absolutely for trying out everything to get in contact with reality. That's what the reason is for experiments, for adventures. But there are things that are stupid and that can end in mental hospital or even death. So there are things that should not be tried. Absolutely not. I know all of this stuff. Yeah, I know all this. I am even trained myself by deep breathing work and even in combination with energy work. So I did this kind of sessions myself with clients, and I am not against my teacher who has taught me that. He's fully clairvoyant. He can see the layers of the aura, what's going on in the system. He can see that, and thus he applies such extreme methods. It's okay for me with him personally, but for every other one, I'm absolutely against it. And even if it works in that context, it's not that what you actually want. You see, there is a tendency, as long as you're disconnected from life and from others, yeah, you feel in a way dead inside. There's a tendency to compensate that with extreme experiences. It's the other pole of being dead or of feeling dead. If you feel dead inside, you think or you imagine that extreme experiences could be of help. They cannot. Extreme experiences cannot help you. What you are looking for is contact, and deepening of relationships has nothing to do with extreme experiences. It is the opposite. So you just can imagine, what would you like to experience? A dry river, a desert, or a flood, or simply a river that is flowing? Yeah, a simple river just flowing is not something so spectacular like a flood, like a natural disaster. So it's important to understand the motivation for these drugs and for this work, because they promise an extreme experience. And again, this is only interesting for people who feel internally dead. It's the projection of the opposite pole of feeling dead. But both poles are not the solution. It's not what you really want. Yeah, what you want is share your emotions with another person. This gives you all the fulfillment and leads in a safe way to meditation. This is what our biology wants. Our biology has no need for LSD or MDMA. Absolutely not. And I know from personal experiences what is happening if you take these kind of drugs. If you take them, you make experiences that can never be integrated. So there will always be a split, because the part, yeah, that integrates things is being blown away. It has nothing to do with the expansion of consciousness. It's not an expansion of consciousness. It's an artificial psychosis. It's nothing spiritual. It's an artificial psychosis. What you experience with these drugs is a psychosis. And for many people, this ends in mental hospital. And for some, they don't return. So let's explain what's the difference between the expansion of consciousness in a spiritual sense and this kind of artificial psychosis. If you integrate things, then the island in which things are being integrated becomes bigger. Yeah, for example, if you have an island in the ocean and you put more and more sand onto it, the island grows. This is done by trauma therapy, for example. Yeah, the entity that integrates things will be strengthened and thus can expand. It's an expansion of the self. And at the end of this development, we naturally move into meditation and experience this expansion, and finally, maybe the dissolving of the ego, the I. But what these drugs and these kind of therapies do is they blow this island in the ocean away. And then there is an experience in the system, an extreme experience in the system, but it's not possible to integrate it. It's like it's like an opposite even to integration. So please don't do that. Don't do that ever. Just do normal trauma therapy for developmental and attachment trauma, and there you will find all the solution. And if you don't need trauma therapy, just do honest sharing with your partner. This will also lead to the solution, to your fulfillment. And as soon as you're connected to other people really deeply, to your emotions, there is no longing for anything else. It is complete fulfillment. And this has to do with the biology of our bodies. We just need to be connected to other people. That's all we want. And this can not give you any drug or any extreme method. I did already a video for ayahuasca. It's the same thing. You know, these people, I don't have anything against these people who bring that from the jungle to our Western society. But these people, they are no Buddhas. They don't know the absolute truth. And even if it comes from these kind of people who live very close to nature or in the jungle, it doesn't mean that it's good. It's just exotic, but it doesn't mean necessarily that it's good. And the last point, during my demo tour through Germany, I talked to a woman who came from Costa Rica. So she grew up there. And she had psychic problems, and she met the best how's the word in the English word? The English word, I don't know, for shamane. Shamanic master. Sorry, I don't know the English word for that. So let's say the gurus of the jungle and the gurus of the ayahuasca in Costa Rica. And she did several of these sessions, and I was, of course, very curious. And even she told me that it didn't solve her problems, and it was what she described was a horror trip. And again, what you can experience there is so horrible, you cannot imagine it. It is impossible to imagine that. I had once such an experience, and I needed 10 years to relax with that. Yeah. Just imagine what kind of horror you need to experience in order to need 10 years to digest it. Don't do it.